G'day guys, Chris here. So I just want to do a quick unboxing of a couple of reels I've brought. It's the Daiwa Zillion TWS. So I've brought two of these, the 100H and also the 100P. They come in 4 different sizes I think, which is retrieve rates I mean. The 100P being the slowest, then the 100H, and then there's a HS, and then there's an XSH or something like that. But yeah, this is the P, so it's a Zillion with black highlights. But it's a very nice titanium-y gunmetal looking colour. And this is the H, which has got gold accents. And then the next speed up, which is 7.3 to 1, has red accents, and then the really fast one that's like 9.1 to 1 or something like that, that has purple accents. So I've brought these reels basically. I asked a couple of people that are big Daiwa users, tried to suss out what the best reel I could get in my price range was, and that's what the conclusion I came to was the Zillion TWS. I essentially wanted something for mainly fishing crankbaits and spinnerbaits, and looking for something where I could pump out nice long casts, and that's where I think these Zillions should come into their own. They've got the T-wing system, which you can see there when I click down to cast. That little line feeder turns out, it flips down. So what that does is it increases the amount of the area, the width where the line can feed out through, which reduces the angles of the line coming off the spool, which therefore reduces friction, so it should result in a further cast. The other feature these has got is air rotation. So essentially it's a free floating spool. So when you engage it to cast, the spool disassociates from the shaft that runs through the centre of the spool. Once again, that just decreases friction and results in a longer cast. As well as that, it's got all of the usual features from this level Daiwa reel. So yeah, I'm keen to use these. I brought the 100P and the 100H as they were the slowest retrieve speeds. The 100P is 5.5 to 1. That's something I think will be awesome for yellers, because with yellow belly fishing you're usually retrieving slowly. But also just to have a nice, I can retrieve comfortably and know that I've got a nice retrieve speed with those lures. And then more for the bass fishing is the 100H, which is 6.3 to 1. And I've brought this one pretty specifically for spinnerbaiting. That's why I wanted something with slightly faster retrieve rate, but mainly just something where I can pump out nice long casts, so I can cover a lot of water with those, especially in the New South Wales dams where you do a lot of fishing along weed edges. So I'm going to spool these up with 17 pound Unitica braid, and there's 2 rods that I've got earmarked for them, which I've picked pretty specifically depending on what I want to use them on. So the 100H, which is going to be used for spinnerbaiting, is going to go on this Samurai Refraction. It's 7 foot 6 to 12 pound bait caster. It's an extremely crisp rod, very light and very crisp. It's something that's going to be well suited for pumping out long casts with those sort of 1/2 ounce and 3/8 ounce spinnerbaits. So that's essentially why I've picked it. 7 foot long, very crisp. It'll pump out, casts a mile. And it's also got a lot of guts in it. So if you're trying to stop a bass, trying to stop an angry bass from running back into a snag, it should be well suited to that. And the other rod, for the 100P, which I'm going to use probably more for crankbaiting, that's a Samurai Inflict, which is the same spec, 7 foot 6 to 12 pound, but it isn't Inflict, so they're a lot softer blank. So it's something that's, it's more suited to crankbaiting, where you want to have that soft tip that's going to allow the lures to sort of control their action a bit more. It's going to meander, it's going to allow the lures to really wobble and travel a lot more through the water without getting impeded by a stiffer rod. Once again, they're very, very gutsy rods, so the sort of thing where I won't have any dramas fishing around snags. And probably other sort of things like hopping atomic semi-hards over points. If you're using the 60mm semi-hards, which are quite a heavy lure, then you want to have a bit of a gutsy rod like that for that sort of technique. So they're the 2 rods that I've picked it out for. And yeah, I'm going to probably do a bit of a review of these reels after I've used them a bit. I'm very excited to get out and use them, especially excited to see how this TWS T-wing system works. there's a few guys that I've spoken to that don't particularly like it. To me, it makes sense that it should work just because of the physics behind it, the fact that you're increasing that hole, so you're going to decrease the angles of the line coming off the spool. So I'm really excited to see how that goes, and also it's the first bait caster I've got with that air rotation feature, so I'm really hoping that with those I can pump out really long casts, and that's why I've picked those rods specifically. They're 7 foot, they're 6 to 12 pound rods that are well suited for the weight lures I'm going to be casting. And yeah, so we're going to check in a little bit and can't wait to get out of the water and use them. Alrighty, cheers.